First, get the mod 3D Enhanced. It's a client-side mod and will be a great help in mission editing. In this tutorial, I'm gonna show you how you can create a simple kill all eggs in a location task in Arma 3. We will begin by placing down the task. After we place it down, we can double click on the task and we will get up a menu. The part of the menu we are gonna focus on is System Specific System Create Task. The others can we ignore. In System Create Task, we got some options. The first options are who gonna own the task, also who the task is showing to. Here you can choose synchronized objects only. Maybe a little bit unclear for what it does, but if synced to a unit, this unit or units is gonna to have the task. Groups of synchronized objects. This option will do that the groups, also the square to the synced units, get the task. Side of synchronized units. This option will do that the side of the synced units get the task. All playable units get the task. Blue 4, all the blue 4 units get the task. Identipedent, aka green 4, all the green 4 people get the task. And civilian, only the civilian party get the task. The next part is task ID. This ID is the identificator for the task used when you want to create a task tree. Then task ID. Put the ID for the task you want the task to be a child of. This is how you make up a task tree. Title. Here is the field you put in the name for the task. Description. Here is the text the task gonna show when you click on the task before you do any change to the description. Marker. I don't know what this thing do. Destination. Here you have some choice again. Note, this destination is just visual. It do not have anything with the coding behind finishing the task. But it is helpful to have the task in a close destination to where you're going to do the thing. Disable. The task will not be shown on the map. Module position. The task location will be where you place the module. Synchronized object. The task location will be the synced object. This may be a building, car, or a player. If it is a movable object, the target's gonna get moved. The first synced object is going to be the location of the task. Don't work very well with the synced owners. State. What state the task is in. Create. The task is created. Assigned. The task is assigned to the owners. Done. The task is done. Failed. The task failed. Cancelled. The task is annulled. Task type. What icon you want to use. Always visible. It's said by default the task is visible only when the task is assigned. But what that means with visible, I don't know. I'm gonna ignore this thing. Show notification. The players will get a pop-up when the task is assigned or changed. Then you have the 3 other modules. Set task description. Let you change the title and text in the task. The text is going to overwrite the task text. So if you want to add some sentences, you need to copy the word text from the task module and paste it here. Set task destination. Let you change the location for the task on the map. Remember, this is just visual. Set the task state. Are the tasks completed, failed, or cancelled? You change the state by syncing this to the task and the trigger to trigger the change. So let's start. I want to make a main task. This task gonna have some subtasks you need to finish. In the start, I don't want this main task to be able to finish. so I'm not going to put in a trigger for it. Let us start. I want all the players on Op4 to have this task, so I chose that the Op4 is the owner, so I don't need to be worried about syncing being deleted. Then I'm gonna start with the parent. I record this ID parent task 1. It is not a child of any task, so leave blank. The title is gonna be Capture the Bunkers. In the description I just write something. I want this task to be visible on the map, so I put in a location. But there is gonna be a little critter on this task with triggers and modules, so I don't want this module on the target, so I chose synchronize objects. I sync it to the object, a flag. Put the state to be created. I want to attack icon. And now I have created a task. Then I will start with my first under task. Let's call this child task 1. Set the parent to be the parent task 1. Then we set a title, like capture the first bunker. We put in a description. We can choose to add a destination, or we can choose to not add a destination. Sometimes the destination may be helpful, and sometimes the destination may be hurtful, because people like to draw on the map, and when you have many tasks with icons, it is a clutter. Then we can start to look on triggers. First, I want the task to be assigned after some time, not at the start like the main task. So put on a trigger. Let the type and activation be none. Set it to be server only. Change the condition from this to true. And set the countdown to some time. I chose 10 seconds. After that, I sync the trigger to the child task 1. Then we can look on how to finish the task. We want one clear way to finish this one, and that is to kill all baddies inside the first bunker. Then we place down the modules, one set task description and one set task state. Set it to be completed and write some positive in it. So put down a new trigger. Let it have a size. You can change that. It is smart to have a little bit buffer zone on this. So if my baddies work a little, they don't trigger the trigger be going away, because that might happen. Since we are fighting blue 4, we are setting the trigger to be activated when there is no blue 4 left in the zone. Now we have a task will be activated and we are able to complete it. But what if we set a failure state? We can do that too. Let's say we fail if the man dies. Let's set the variable for this man to be civilian bot. We put in a trigger. Set its condition to be not alive civilian bot. And let's play it. Let's open the map. We can look at the task. We have a location. If we go away, press it, assign. Mark. When we get under task of a task, we cannot longer assign it or locate it on the map, like with the button, but it's still visible on the map. So we have the task. Let's take it out. And task completed. But there is some wanky thing with how I set up now. If people remember, it's one complete and one fail task. Since I have not blocked the completion of failure from being completed when I fail, or fail when I complete and then fail, like I do this now, you will see I failed this mission, and we can do something about that. To make sure that you can not complete a task if you failed, I cannot fail a task if you completed, we need to add something, and that's it's not trigger activated. We add and not trigger activated, then we put in the variable. The two variables we are going to use now is trigger test 2 and trigger test 1, and we just put the other one inside the triggers. So for trigger test 1 trigger, we put in trigger test 2, so you cannot be able to complete if you failed, and you cannot fail if you complete. That's the idea behind this. Debate. And if you see, you can have more tasks under each auto. That's good. Kill a man. We failed. They are dead. Yeah, they are dead. Yeah, that was the tutorial.